Hey everyone. So I'm very glad to have Vaibhav here with us. Vaibhav has been, we've known Vaibhav since a while now, and I think before starting off with Web3, Vaibhav started his Ethereum journey at InOut 4. So this brings things round the circle, and that is why we wanted to kind of have this session to convey the sense of excitement that's there in the space today. Since then, Vaibhav has then went on to work for Matic, one of the leading projects in the space. And post Matic, he has been working as an independent researcher with folks from the Ethereum Foundation, and has been up to some really cool stuff, which I'll let Vaibhav take it ahead from here.
Thanks, Denver. It's good to be at InOut after I think 3 or 4 editions. So it's like a complete circle. Sweet, yeah. Uh, I'll share my screen and my slides, which I prepared very quickly. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to take this opportunity and talk to folks and try to get them excited about Ethereum and sort of show that why people should care about Ethereum. And that's what we are going to talk about today. I've I've been I've been in the Ethereum space for 3 years, and so much has happened that it almost feels like a decade or so. So feel free to ask any questions. I'm sure that there's a tab somewhere, and I'll get to them in between. Sweet. So I technically am a developer, so I'll try to make this topic very broad and not very technical. So even people who do not have any understanding of blockchain or Ethereum or have only heard of the hype, they should be. I I hope they are able to appreciate why I love Ethereum so much. So here's the deal. Whenever I used to deploy any applications, let's say whenever I deployed a API on a Friday night to production, I used to sleep badly on Saturday and Sunday because I was afraid that my build would crash or I must have left a key exposed that would leak the DB to the whole world, and the whole application that my team built for the last 2 months will will be hacked, and a lot of people will have lost private information, money, etc., etc. So what excited me to Ethereum initially was these like several life-changing properties. It's serverless by default. You deploy something to this network and it stays there. You don't have to run any servers. You don't have to do anything at all. You just click a button. Something gets deployed on this network and it stays there. The so it's shared security for all the applications. So I build something, you build something, both of our applications have the same security, and the security level is extremely high. So the security cost gets amortized for a lot of applications, and a lot of applications can have the same security benefits as like very high-end financial applications. So when I sleep on Saturday or Friday, I I'm not really afraid because I know my contracts or whatever I deploy will behave as I intend. Uh, it's deploy and forget. Once you click a button and you deploy your thing, then you don't have to worry about, hey, will this thing crash? Hey, do I have to keep checking on again and again? Hey, do I have to add a pager service to wake me up at 3 a.m. in the night? And I'll frantically grab my laptop and figure out what went wrong. It's a fair ground for building life-changing products. What that means is, unlike the current scenario, if Google deploys a product and you deploy a product, both are received differently. because Google has like a massive infrastructure, etc., at their disposal, where you and I are just an indie hacker. Here, whatever you deploy or I deploy, both are deployed on the same network and have the same reach of people. It's totally permissionless. You don't have to ask me for integrating my API. I don't have to ask you for integrating your API, right? So all of these factors made me extremely attracted to Ethereum, and I think in out 4, I decided to give it a try and build something cool. So here's how I like think about blockchain. So forget about the hype, forget about the prices, forget people saying it's very complicated. Just think of it as an open permissionless API, right? You can integrate any other API with 10 lines of code without asking anyone for permission. For example, here's a contract address, right? So I can just click this. It will open Etherscan, which is like a explorer, and I can go to this tab contract. I can basically read all the code that's deployed and see how it will work when I call this specific function, and I can even directly call those functions from here and see what the current values are, right? So I think that's pretty cool. You can read anyone's code that's deployed on the network and see how it would work if you want to interact with. And even interacting with these contracts is extremely easy, right? So here's another example. As a web, as a normal developer, right? You cannot even imagine having access to $100 million in 15 seconds without any collateral. You'll first think, hey, I'll have to talk to ICICI or HDFC Bank and beg to get a payment gateway, and then we'll have to file 60 documents, and then maybe they will give me a gateway. And also, I have integrated a payment gateway, and it has been extremely hard so far. But this piece of code that you see over here, this gives you access to $100 million in 15 seconds without any collateral. This is just to spike your curiosity. This is true. But if you want to know more, we can talk after the presentation. So this small piece of code does everything you want. So this whole space, it's also very broad, right? uh, it has parts of cryptography, it has parts of distributed systems, it is very deeply political. It also has a lot of economics. It's also very community driven, so people who do a lot of marketing, people who do a lot of content writing, they have extreme scope, right? So in my opinion, it's like you can do anything and be a part of this community. There's space for everyone. This is why this niche needs you and you need it too, right? So a lot of other popular spaces, like let's say data science, right? So Google has a lot of data that you as an indie developer does not have access to. So if you have an idea and Google has the same idea, it would be able to make a better product out of it than you. Also, the uh, when I talk to a lot of devs in that area, they mostly say things like there are a ton of people working there, so making an impact is hard. You have to be in the space for like 2 years or so to make a significant impact. This is not true for blockchain. It's a small space, and also a space which has a lot of areas where you can contribute to, right? So if you dedicate like let's say a week to a particular space in the blockchain area, you'll make an impact, and people will know you. You will understand the space more, you will appreciate the place more, and you would have built something that people want in, I would say, a week or so, right? So a lot of people say blockchain UI UX sucks, but the difference is you can fix it today and be a part of history impacting millions of people. everything we do in the blockchain space is mostly open source. You can contribute to these projects, fork them off, do anything you want, and any improvement above the current progress is highly appreciated, right? So the fact that anything that's broken can be fixable by you is a big deal. Libraries and dev tools, they are surely not as good as what companies like Google, Amazon, Stripe, or Twitter have. But the difference is that you can help us fixing that. Also, to be honest, in the last 6 months or the last 10 months, the libraries and dev tools have become so much better. It's so much better being a part of using things like Hard Hat, Truffle, or some other dev tools and building smart contracts today. I have seen people go from zero to deploying contracts that handle like $7-8 million in 3 months. So that's a big deal for this small niche. This specific line is what attracted me as a indie developer, as an open source developer to the Ethereum space, because I saw a lot of things that were being used by a lot of people whom I deeply respect. So I would just use a tool, see something that's broken, or see that, hey, this one more feature would be a nice addition. I would send a PR and it would be out there in the next release. And with this, I would like to welcome everyone on this session to the Ethereum community, right? Another reason why I really love Ethereum space is that it's very weird. So this post that you see over here is someone deploying a project's contracts on the network, and and the project had to adopt these contracts because they were already deployed, and now these contracts interact with $1.3 billion. So it's that weird, right? Yeah, that's about it. Hope I got you excited about the project. Uh, we can talk more. Slide into my DMs on Telegram and Twitter. I'll definitely chat more. We are also doing something very cool with Devfolio. We are doing a Ethereum fellowship that should start soon, and we would be opening it up for mentees, and we would love to have a chat with you guys there. Thank you. I'll be happy to take questions if anyone has any.
Hey Vaibhav, thanks for the quick and sweet introduction to Ethereum. And I think it's what, one really good reason to get into the Ethereum is because of the community, the sense of community that's there, and its sense of building everything, building, you know, in a sense, like not to sound too grandiose, but building the future of the internet piece by piece, and everybody can do that. So that's the best part, which I think you captured really great. But I think we have some time for questions. Let's take some questions. So Sarthak has a question that says, "What about Hyperledger Fabric?" So I think probably could you do a brief like about this, like about the differences here between
Yeah, for
Hyperledger
sure.
and Ethereum? Yeah.
Yeah, so Hyperledger, as far as I know, is like a private. Uh, so it's a project that people, I think, use for creating private blockchains. That's like company-specific blockchains. Uh, I'm I'm not really supportive of that di- di- direction of this space, but I feel the requirement for it, and yeah, I as a dev, I'm just more attracted to open APIs and something that I can quickly copy paste, interact, and get composability. So Hyperledger Fabric, while being a very decent project and something that a lot of people use, I would like to see people move towards Ethereum more.
Great. So Katuk is asking, what are your thoughts on Ethereum 2.0?
Yeah, so Ethereum 2.0 is a very ambitious project started by Ethereum Foundation. We saw the phase zero release December first week, I think, and the participation has been extremely great. We have seen like $1.3 billion logged in the contract. So $1.3 billion are people staking their money and saying, hey, we want to move to Ethereum 2 as soon as possible. So so yeah, the whole community is pretty excited about the project. It still has a lot of way to go, but definitely something where a lot of contributions are happening. It has made some breakthroughs in cryptography, breakthroughs in P2P communication, distributed systems, and I would recommend people checking it out and contributing it too. I'm also trying to contribute it, but it's hard.
Right. Then a follow-up question by Sarthak here he asks that would you recommend to use Ethereum for private blockchains as well? And I think the reason he asks is because he thinks that Hyperledger Fabric is a good option because of fully being in control and deployment.
Yeah, for sure. Hmm. So private and public, they are things on a gradient, right? Nothing is completely private, right? So by private blockchains, you mean I think like custodial ownership, right? So if you deploy something on this private network, a set of let's say 20, 30 people have access to like stop the network or do something malicious with it. So I think there's a good use case for private blockchains too, and Hyperledger Fabric should be used for that, I guess. But but yeah, as a person, or in my preference, I prefer building public stuff.
Sounds good. Would we have any other questions for now? Okay.
I'll just post my handle here also, so
Yeah.
if people want to, they can chat later.
Yeah. So Vaibhav has posted his handle. So if at any point of time, if you want to talk about anything related to Ethereum, or even why you should be building on blockchain, then feel free to reach out. I
Also,
personally
mhm.
know how helpful Vaibhav has been, and then he'll be happy to help you guys out. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
okay.
I think there's a question by Sebastian.
Yeah.
Let me read it out and answer it. Is it possible for a normal Web2 dev who probably won't have much experience in finance to develop DeFi apps? Isn't that a very steep learning curve? Yeah, for sure. So yeah, building like a very technical financial app will require you to have understanding of finance and understanding of the Ethereum space. It is indeed a steep learning curve, and that's why we are partnering with Devfolio for Ethereum India Fellowship, where we help people go through this steep learning curve. The thing over here is it is indeed a steep learning curve, but the reward is extremely high, right? So it's worth going through the curve. So as I uh, showed in my presentation, in like 15 lines of code you get access to $100 million, and with that $100 million you can do anything you want, right? So it's all about risk to reward ratio, and over here I think rewards are very much outweighed. So I would definitely recommend people spending like 3 to 4 months and getting an understanding of Ethereum and like basic finance. So there is this application called Uniswap, and everyone who has understood it so far has their mind blown. because it's something so deeply financial yet so deeply simple that people understand it instantly, and when they do, they understand they are able to connect all these pieces. So that's pretty exciting.
Right. So I think the learning curve is steep, but then, as Weber said, in the end, it's worth it. Uh, do we have any other questions? Okay, this Uniswap for the win in the chat. Uh, I think that's it for now. And Vaibhav will be reachable on Telegram. His handle is Vaibhav Chellani. You can reach out to him. He'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. So thanks once again, Vaibhav, for taking the
Perfect.
time
No
uh,
problem.
to make it to the call and inspiring people to build on Ethereum.
No problem. Happy. Yeah. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for having me here. Let's talk more and do participate in Ethereum India Fellowship. It's a lot of fun. I promise. All right. Thanks you.
For
Thanks,
sure.
guys.